So I started thinking about past seasons for me, like my first job. And I remember how different my first job was then compared to where I am now. And you have less responsibility, less wage, less pay. And then for those of us that have careers, we have a lot more responsibility, probably more pay than what we did at our very first job. There's different seasons of age stages. And I know right now, if you have social media, you probably have scrolled through one of these posts that show you about what it looked like in maybe your decade of childhood. And it brings this sort of sense of nostalgia to you because you're reminded of this season of life that you were in that maybe you felt safe, maybe feels familiar, maybe feels comfortable. And so we have that childhood stage, and then you have adulthood where things change drastically. Some of us have children. Some of us have grandchildren. Some of us are in the age of retirement. Some of us are saving for retirement. I don't know about you, but if you're a teacher or if you're in the education realm, you may be in a season of celebration that it's summertime, right? Because you've made it through a wild year with different personalities and emails and everything else. But also, if you're on your education journey, maybe you have graduated and maybe you're looking forward to college. Maybe you're in a post-education realm of season of life and you're looking ahead to something else. But all of us go through this various seasons of life. And so I'm praying and meditating, and this is the question that the Lord brought up to me. How are we handling the different seasons of life? How are you handling your current season that you're going through? I don't know what everybody else goes through, only you can. And today I want us to meditate, how are we doing? Where are we with the Lord in this current season? So as we look, the Lord led me into his word for the account of Joshua. And so I want us to start off in Deuteronomy chapter 31, and we're going to read a few verses and then talk about it. So 31 verse 1, it says this: Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel. I am now 120 years old, and I am no longer able to lead you. The Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. The Lord your God himself will cross over ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you will take possession of their land. Joshua also will cross over ahead of you, as the Lord said. And the Lord will do to them what he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, whom he destroyed along with their land. The Lord will deliver them to you, and you must do to them all that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So this is an extremely important speech that Moses has given. And if you remember, if you know where the Israelites are, this is the second generation in the wilderness. And so they just previewed failures of faith from the first generation. They weren't allowed to go into the promised land. They had sent scouts over. The scouts came back. There was a little bit of deliberation, but ultimately they were scared. They didn't want to go. They didn't trust in the Lord. So this new generation, Moses gives the law for the second time. That's where we get the word Deuteronomy. And so for the second time, they get this word, and they're now anticipating and anxiously waiting to get to this promised land that the Lord has talked to them about. But here's the thing. Moses comes in with this huge word, and he says this: hey, I'm old. I'm not going to be with you much longer. But here's the thing. Even though I won't cross over the Jordan with you, the Lord will be with you. Caleb's going to go with you, but the Lord's going to go before you and with you. What he's telling the Israelites is this is a new season. It's going to be nothing like you've experienced before. We've been wandering in the wilderness. You've seen what your parents have done, and you've heard the law given for the second time. Now you're going to actually cross over, and everything's going to be new. And so you can imagine the Israelites having a little bit of anxiety towards this new season of life, right? It's unfamiliar. They're going based off of a word that's been given to them, and now there's this huge leadership change. So how the Israelites respond is extremely important. What Moses is trying to come into the Israelites, he's like, yes, there's going to be new things, but God is going to accomplish the plan that he set forth. And for us, we have to remember that today. Even when things look bleak, even when circumstances change or catch us off guard, and when tragedy hits, the Lord has us. There is hope and there is promise that we live by. So the first point I want us to look at through this section of scriptures with Joshua is there are challenges in seasons. There are challenges in seasons. We're going to look at verse 14 now, so going on ahead a little bit. And the Lord said to Moses, "Now the day of your death is near. Call Joshua and present yourselves at the tent of meeting where I will commission him." So Moses and Joshua came and presented themselves at the tent of meeting. Then the Lord appeared at the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the cloud stood over the entrance to the tent. And the Lord said to Moses, "You are going to rest with your ancestors, and these people will soon prostitute themselves to the foreign gods of the land they are entering. They will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them. And in that day I will become angry with them and forsake them. I will hide my face from them, and they will be destroyed. Many disasters and calamities will come on them, and in that day they will ask, 'Have not these disasters come on us because our God is not with us?' And I will certainly hide my face in that day because of all their wickedness and turning to the other gods." The Lord gave this command to Joshua, son of Nun, "Be strong and courageous, for you will bring the Israelites into the land I promised them on oath, and I myself will be with you." So here Joshua comes on the scene. He's being commissioned. And if you know anything about Joshua, he comes from the tribe of Ephraim. From a young lad, or from his youth, he was raised up as being mentored by Moses. He was victorious in battle. The word says that he had the Spirit of God on him. And now he himself is entering a new season of leadership, a new season of expectations. And man, can you believe on his day of commissioning, he gets the news that eventually this people you're leading will turn away and break covenant. So he doesn't even get a chance to step into the shoes of Moses, which had to be an anxious thing for him, and he gets this news already. So what do you think's going on in his mind? Man, there's a lot of dependence that I have to rely upon the Lord with. There's a lot that I have to allow the Lord to take over and to trust in Him because there's challenges in the season. And so as he hears this news, he knows, and he doesn't know exactly the time that the Israelites will break covenant, but he knows that it's going to be a difficult journey. And if they're anything like the generation before, they're going to use their mouths to complain and to try to war against the plan of God. But Joshua has to remain faithful. So here's the truth for all of us in all of our seasons of life. As long as sin still exists in this world, we will have challenges, right? We will always face the effects of sin in every season. Some of us may have certain coworkers that may be a little difficult to deal with. Maybe you have some family members that you're really praying through because they are dealing with some spiritual battles. Maybe for you, it's a financial thing. Maybe something unexpected came into your life and you had to drop a lot of money, and now you're really relying upon the Lord to take care of you. There are things that we're going to face through all of these challenges of life, through your occupation, through your parenting, through your leadership and good stewarding of what you have. All of us are going to face challenges in every season. But here's the thing. God still calls us to walk with Him through these challenges. Here's the truth that I want you to get from this part, is that we do not walk this life alone. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for my God is with me. So this season, whatever season you're going through, you are not alone. God promises, as long as you're walking with Him and faithful to Him, He remains faithful with you and walks with you. And He will take care of those things that will come. I can remember, for me, a new season of life was traveling to seminary in New Orleans. Now, I've never lived in New Orleans before. I'd been there a few times before I went to seminary, but didn't know what to expect. Had a little bit of money that I had saved up beforehand. And I get there, and it was an awesome experience because I get to participate in these parking lot worship parties that we would have, this room-to-room, dorm room counseling sessions. We did homeless ministry, which was really new for me, but it was awesome to see the Lord work. And I tell you, after you get busy, and those of you who've lived in a busy season, it is nice to get alone with the Lord and rest, right? Well, for me, traditionally, that included me going fishing. So when I was in college, my rest was I need to go out on the lake. I need to see the beauty that the Lord created, be reminded of what He's doing in my life, read His Word, pray and commune with Him, and hopefully catch 6 or 7 fish. I lived in brackish water, so it was a little bit different than bass fishing, which we did a little bit north of us. So I go to my friends in the dorm room, and I'm like, hey, where's the best place to fish? And so they said, hey, look, there's this pier on the South Shore we're going to take you to. And I was like, okay. So I'm riding with them. We get there, and the pier kind of goes out, and then it splits off side to side. So immediately I go to the left, let my friends take the middle. And now there's quite a few people on the pier. And I start fishing by the edge. And I'm like, look, I just need to pray. I need to get alone with the Lord. And I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, like in the back of your head, that somebody was staring at you. Have you ever felt that feeling before? It's this weird feeling like you're being looked at or watched. So I turn to my left and I look over, and there's this woman. She's probably in her older 50s, who's standing there with a dog, a leash in her hand, a dog on the leash, and she's staring at me smiling. And so, as a young man, I'm kind of creeped out a little bit, if I'm being honest. And so I kind of turn away, start fishing like this. A few seconds later, I turn again towards her. She's still in the same spot. Now, there's people in between us. She's not looking at any other person. She's staring straight at me. And I just had this uneasy feeling. And in that moment, it was like a quick shift. The Lord said, you're going to talk to that woman. And if I could be honest with you, I said, I'm not going to talk to that woman, Lord. I mean, let's be honest. We don't always follow through exactly the way that the Lord wants us to. Sometimes we're stubborn and hard-headed. And I said, Lord, I came here to fish, to talk to you. This is important. But I knew. And it was only like a minute later, she's walking towards me. And she says, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm good, something along those lines. And she said, I've never seen you on this pier before. And I was like, how often does this lady come to the pier? Does she take attendance? What's the deal? And no, I said, look, I'm new here. I just arrived at the seminary. I've been there not too long. And she said, really? She said, well, I have something to tell you. And I knew at that moment that she was going to unload. And she did. She talked about how she was battling depression and empty nest syndrome and having issues with her husband and her grown children, and just discussing all this issues about life. And I put the pole down, and in that moment, I'm relying upon the Lord for as best as I can to get a word of knowledge to be able to share with her. And so I don't remember everything exactly what I said, but I said, hey, if the Lord had planned for you to come to me, and this meeting was on purpose, He loves you. And He cares about you and you walking through this season of life. But here's what I didn't tell her. I didn't promise her that the season would get better. I didn't say that her husband would change. I didn't say her kids would change. But I said she could change. Because the Lord's calling upon her to turn to Him, to rely upon Him, to repent of any sin that's going on in her life so that He would walk with her. And that's where we're at. That's as we walk through these challenges. We can't be guaranteed that some of these outliers are going to change, but we can be guaranteed that the Lord wants an intimate relationship while we walk through this season.